First contact in the void. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the mining vessel Helios Ascendant, watching the asteroid field shimmer with an unnatural blue light. After 15 years of deep space mining operations, she thought she'd seen everything the void had to offer. She was wrong. "Captain, the readings are getting stronger," Dr. Amit Patel called from his station, his dark eyes fixed on the holographic display floating above his console. "Whatever's causing these energy signatures, it's unlike anything in our database." Sarah ran her fingers through her short gray hair, a habit she'd developed during her years in the Colonial Mining Corps. "Give me something concrete, Amit. Command's not going to be happy if we delay our quotas for another sensor ghost." The Helios Ascendant had been dispatched to the Carina sector to extract rare earth elements from the local asteroid belt. It was supposed to be a routine 6-month operation. But 3 days ago, their sensors had picked up anomalous energy readings that defied explanation. "The pattern is too regular to be natural," Amit insisted, sending a data stream to the main display. "Look at these oscillations. They're maintaining a perfect sine wave, despite all the electromagnetic interference from the belt." Sarah studied the readings, her frown deepening. She'd learned to trust Amit's instincts during their 5 years working together. The scientist might be young, but his expertise in xenogeology had saved their operation more than once. "Maya, what's your take?" Sarah called to her first officer. Maya Rodriguez looked up from her tactical station, her cybernetic eye glowing faintly in the dim bridge lighting. "The asteroids in that section are too perfectly spaced. I've run 3 different orbital calculations, they should have collapsed into each other centuries ago. Something's keeping them in position." Before Sarah could respond, a new alarm blared through the bridge. "Energy spike!" Amit shouted. "Something's activating." The blue shimmer intensified, and suddenly a gap appeared in the asteroid field, like a curtain being drawn aside. Beyond it lay what appeared to be an artificial structure, its surface covered in geometric patterns that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. "By all the colonies," Maya whispered. "That's not human construction." "Full stop," Sarah ordered. "Sound general quarters. I want everyone at their stations and suited up. Maya, get our mining drones back to the hold. Amit, start running every scan we have. I want to know what we're dealing with before we make any moves." The bridge crew rushed to comply as Sarah opened a channel to engineering. "Kai, how are our systems looking?" Chief Engineer Kai Chen's voice crackled through the comm despite sharing a surname. They weren't related. Chen was simply a common name among the colonies of the Centauri arm, all green, Captain. "But I'm picking up some weird harmonics in the drive core. Whatever that thing is, it's resonating with our quantum field generator." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. The quantum field generator was cutting-edge human technology, developed only 30 years ago. If this alien structure could interact with it. "Captain," Amit called, his voice tense. "I'm detecting a signal. It's being broadcast on all frequencies, but it's using quantum encryption protocols that won't be invented for another century, according to my database." The implications hit Sarah like a physical blow. Either they were dealing with time travelers, or they'd just encountered technology far beyond humanity's current understanding. "Put it through," she ordered, squaring her shoulders. A series of musical tones filled the bridge, followed by what sounded like words in an impossible language, sounds that human vocal cords couldn't produce. But then the signal shifted, as if the source was learning, adapting. "Greetings, seekers," a synthetic voice emerged from the chaos. "You have found the gateway. But are you ready for what lies beyond?" The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. Sarah took a deep breath, weighing her options. They were 3 months from the nearest colonial outpost. If something went wrong, there would be no rescue. But the potential discovery here could change everything humanity thought they knew about the universe. The mining corps had standing orders about first contact scenarios, detailed protocols that every captain memorized but never expected to use. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the colonial mining vessel Helios Ascendant," she broadcast in response. "We come in peace, seeking knowledge and understanding." The structure's patterns shifted faster, creating dizzying geometric displays. Intent registered. Warning, the gateway tests all who enter. Failure carries consequences beyond death. Do you accept the terms, Captain Sarah Chen? Maya stepped closer to Sarah's chair. "Captain, we should contact command first. This is way above our pay grade." Sarah shook her head. "By the time we get a response, this opportunity might be gone. Besides," she gestured at their scanners, which showed multiple ships entering the sector at high speed. "We're about to have company. Someone else picked up these energy signatures." She opened a ship-wide channel. "All hands, this is the captain. We've made first contact with what appears to be an alien installation. I know we're just a mining vessel, but right now we're humanity's representatives. I'm giving everyone a choice: we can withdraw to a safe distance and wait for colonial authority ships to arrive, or we can proceed with first contact protocols. Anyone who wishes to register an objection can do so now." The silence that followed spoke volumes about her crew's trust, or their shared sense of adventure. "Time grows short," the alien voice announced. "Others approach who would claim the gateway. Choose now, Captain Sarah Chen." Sarah looked at her bridge crew, saw the mixture of fear and excitement on their faces. They were miners, explorers, scientists, not diplomats or first contact specialists. But sometimes history chose its own players. "We accept your terms," Sarah declared. "The Helios Ascendant requests permission to approach." The structure's patterns crystallized into a single, brilliant point of light. "Approach granted. Prepare yourselves, seekers. The trials begin." As the Helios Ascendant moved forward, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they'd just committed themselves to something far bigger than a simple mining operation. In the distance, the approaching ships grew larger on their sensors. The race for the gateway had begun. "All hands," Sarah announced, "prepare for close approach. Whatever happens next, we're making history. Let's make it count." The alien structure loomed before them, its mysteries waiting to be unveiled. Sarah Chen, a simple mining captain, was about to lead humanity into its next great adventure, ready or not. The Awakening. The Helios Ascendant glided through the artificial corridor within the gateway, surrounded by walls that rippled like mercury. Dr. Amit Patel's sensors were going haywire, registering energy signatures that shouldn't be possible according to known physics. "Captain," Maya called out, her cybernetic eye pulsing with rapid calculations, "those ships behind us? They're colonial authority vessels. Black Star class. Military." Sarah felt her jaw tighten. The colonial authority's military division wasn't supposed to operate in this sector. "How long until they reach us?" 30 minutes, maybe less if they push their drives." "Captain." Amit's voice cracked with excitement. "The structure, it's reconfiguring itself. The internal space is expanding." Before their eyes, the corridor opened into a vast chamber that seemed to defy Euclidean geometry. The walls stretched away in impossible directions, creating spaces that somehow existed inside each other. At the center floated a crystalline structure that pulsed with internal light. "Welcome to the heart," the synthetic voice returned, now somehow more present, more aware. "Your vessel's quantum systems have been analyzed. Compatibility confirmed. Initiating neural interface protocols." Suddenly, every screen on the bridge lit up with cascading symbols. Sarah felt a strange tingling in her head, like static electricity but inside her skull. "Captain," Kai's voice came through the comm, "the quantum field generator it's changing. The alien system is rewriting its base code." "Shut it down," Sarah ordered. "I can't." It's like it's evolved beyond our control systems. But, Captain, it's becoming more efficient. Power output is up 300% and climbing. Maya gripped her console. We should pull back. This is too dangerous. But Sarah saw something in the flowing symbols that gave her pause. Wait. Amit, are you seeing this? The patterns, they're familiar somehow. The scientist nodded vigorously. They're similar to human DNA structures, but far more complex. Captain, I think it's trying to communicate with us on a fundamental level. The crystalline structure in the center of the chamber began to rotate, its facets catching and refracting light in hypnotic patterns. And then, without warning, a figure appeared on the bridge, a hologram composed of shifting geometric shapes that approximately formed a humanoid shape. I am Guardian, it announced, its voice now coming from the hologram rather than the ship's speakers. Last keeper of the predecessor's legacy. Your species has achieved quantum awareness sooner than predicted. This is promising. Sarah stepped forward. I'm Captain Sarah Chen. What exactly is this place? A seed, Guardian replied. One of many planted across the galaxy by those you would call the predecessors. We wait for species to achieve sufficient technological advancement, then offer guidance to prevent the Great Filter. The Great Filter? Amit asked, already recording everything. The threshold that destroys most civilizations. The moment when technological advancement outpaces wisdom. Your quantum technology indicates you approach this threshold. A new alarm sounded. Captain, Maya reported, the Colonial Authority ships are broadcasting on all frequencies. They're ordering us to withdraw and demanding we transfer all data regarding the alien structure. Sarah ignored them for the moment. Guardian, you said this was a test. What exactly are you testing? The hologram's patterns shifted to darker hues. Your potential. Your wisdom. Your right to survive. The Great Filter approaches your civilization faster than you know. Others now race to claim this knowledge, but they do not understand. Power without wisdom leads only to destruction. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. Energy surged from the crystal. Amit shouted. It's interfacing with Maya's cybernetics. Maya gasped, her cybernetic eye flaring bright. Captain. I can see everything. The predecessors, their rise, their fall, their warnings. Guardian's form grew more solid. The first trial begins. Your officer now carries crucial data. The approaching vessels seek to take it by force. Your response will be evaluated. Maya. Sarah moved to her first officer's side. What do you see? Death, Maya whispered. So much death. Civilizations that chose power over wisdom, technology over understanding. They destroyed themselves. All of them. And we're on the same path. The ship's calm crackled. Mining vessel Helios Ascendant, this is Colonel Richards of the Colonial Authority. You are hereby ordered to power down your systems and prepare for boarding. This is a matter of colonial security. Sarah looked at Guardian. Is this the test? Whether we surrender the knowledge or protect it? The test is in how you choose to proceed, Guardian replied. Violence begets violence. Power begets destruction. Yet submission to tyranny is its own form of failure. Amit's console beeped urgently. Captain, I'm detecting weapons powering up on the colonial vessels. They're not waiting for our response. Sarah felt the weight of command settle heavily on her shoulders. They were a mining vessel, virtually defenseless against military ships. But Maya now carried information that could determine the future of human civilization. And the predecessor's Guardian was watching, evaluating their every move. Kai, she called to engineering, what's the status of our enhanced quantum field generator? It's unlike anything I've ever seen, Captain. The alien modifications. I think we could do things with it that should be impossible. Guardian's hologram flickered. Choose wisely, Captain Sarah Chen. The path of wisdom often lies between extremes. The colonial ships were now visible through the chamber's translucent walls, their weapons hot and ready to fire. Sarah had seconds to make a decision that could affect all of humanity. Maya, can you interface with our modified systems through your cybernetics? Maya nodded slowly, her organic eye focused on something distant while her cybernetic one pulsed with data. Yes, and I think I know what the predecessors would do. Sarah took a deep breath. Time to prove humanity's wisdom, or lack thereof. All hands, she announced, prepare for emergency maneuvers. We're about to attempt something that's either brilliant or suicidal. Possibly both. The gateway's crystal began to pulse faster, and the chamber's walls shifted like quicksilver. The trial had begun in earnest, and humanity's future hung in the balance. The price of knowledge. Evasive maneuvers. Sarah ordered as the first warning shots from the colonial authority ships streaked past the Helios Ascendant. The mining vessel shuddered, its enhanced quantum field generator humming with otherworldly energy. Maya stood rigid at her station, her cybernetic eye streaming data faster than human neurons could process. Captain, I understand now. The quantum field, it's not just for power generation. The predecessors used it to manipulate spacetime itself. Can we use it to escape? Sarah asked, watching as more colonial ships emerged from FTL at the edge of the gateway's chamber. Better. Maya's organic eye gleamed with newfound knowledge. We can show them the truth. Before Sarah could respond, Maya interfaced directly with the ship's modified systems. The quantum field expanded dramatically, enveloping not just the Helios Ascendant but the colonial vessels as well. Reality seemed to blur at the edges. Guardian's hologram pulsed with approval. The second trial begins. Truth versus power. Knowledge versus control. Choose wisely. Suddenly, every crew member aboard every ship, including the colonial authority vessels, found their consciousness expanded. Through Maya's connection with the predecessor technology, they all saw visions of civilizations rising and falling across the galaxy. By the colonies, Amit whispered, tears streaming down his face. So many dead worlds. The visions showed civilizations that had discovered quantum technology, just as humanity had. Some used it for weapons of unimaginable power. Others tried to control time itself. Still others attempted to force their way into higher dimensions. All of them, without exception, destroyed themselves. This is the great filter, Guardian explained, its voice echoing in all their minds. Technology without wisdom. Power without understanding. The hubris of beings who reach for godhood before learning to be humble. On the colonial ships, weapons powered down as their crews wrestled with the weight of what they were witnessing. Colonel Richard's voice came through the comm, shaken but still commanding, What is this? The truth, Sarah replied simply. The reason the predecessors left these gateways. They're not weapons or power sources, they're warnings. Maya gasped suddenly, her cybernetic eye flickering. Captain, something's wrong. The interface, it's changing me. The data, it's too much. Amit's sensors blared new warnings. Her neural patterns are destabilizing. The cybernetic implant wasn't designed to handle this level of information. Guardian's form shifted to a deep red. The price of knowledge must be paid. Your officer chose to bear this burden. Now she must prove worthy, or be consumed by it. No. Sarah rushed to Maya's side as her first officer collapsed. You said this was a test of wisdom. What's wise about sacrificing an innocent person? The burden of wisdom requires sacrifice, Guardian stated. Throughout the galaxy, those who bear knowledge must choose, keep it to themselves and watch others repeat ancient mistakes, or share it and risk being destroyed by the very truth they carry. The quantum field fluctuated wildly as Maya's consciousness wrestled with the vast download of predecessor knowledge. Through their temporary mental connection, everyone in the gateway chamber felt echoes of her struggle. Kai's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, the quantum field generator is approaching critical levels. If it blows, it'll take out everything in the chamber, including the colonial ships." Sarah grabbed Maya's shoulders. "Fight it. You're stronger than any machine, any program. Make it adapt to you, not the other way around." Maya's organic eye snapped open. The predecessors, they weren't just leaving warnings. They were evolving. Seeding the galaxy with their knowledge, waiting for species wise enough to what? Sarah demanded. To transcend, Maya whispered. Her cybernetic eye suddenly stabilized, glowing with a new kind of light. To learn from their mistakes instead of repeating them. The knowledge isn't meant to destroy us, it's meant to transform us. Guardian's color shifted to a brilliant gold. The third trial begins. Transformation requires unity. Division leads to destruction. Show us your choice, children of Earth. Colonel Richard's face appeared on the main screen, his expression haunted by the visions he'd witnessed. Captain Chen, the Colonial Authority sent us here to secure any alien technology we found. To preserve humanity's military advantage. But after what we've seen... Colonel, Sarah interrupted, we're all seeing the same truth. Humanity's advantage won't come from weapons or power. It'll come from choosing a different path than all those dead civilizations. Maya stood slowly, her movements now fluid and certain. The quantum field can be stabilized, but not by one ship alone. We need to work together. All of us. That's the real test. Sarah looked at the colonial ships, then at Guardian, then at her own crew. They were no longer just miners or soldiers. They were witnesses to a truth that could save or doom humanity. Your choice, Colonel, Sarah said quietly. Power. Or wisdom. The chamber hummed with energy as everyone present faced the same decision that countless species had faced before. But this time, perhaps, the outcome could be different. Guardian watched silently as humanity stood on the precipice of its greatest trial yet. The price of knowledge had been shown, but the true cost of wisdom was yet to be paid. Edge of extinction. The gateway chamber pulsed with energy as the combined crews of the Helios Ascendant and the colonial vessels worked to stabilize the quantum field. Through their shared neural connection, they could all feel the weight of history pressing down on them, not just human history, but the collective memory of countless extinct civilizations. All ships, synchronize your quantum generators on my mark, Maya commanded, her cybernetic eye projecting holographic instructions into the shared space. Her organic eye remained focused on something beyond normal spacetime. The predecessor's technology operates on principles of harmony, not force. Colonel Richards, now aboard the Helios Ascendant, watched in awe as Maya coordinated the impossible feat. In all my years in the Colonial Authority, I never imagined, we were so wrong about everything. 3 minutes until quantum cascade failure, Kai reported from engineering. Whatever we're going to do, it needs to happen now. Guardian's hologram expanded, filling the chamber with geometric patterns that mirrored the movements of the ship's quantum fields. The final trial approaches. The circle closes. The filter rises. Suddenly, Maya screamed. Her cybernetic implant blazed with light as new information flooded in. They're coming. The ones who failed the trials, they're still out there. The chamber's walls became transparent, revealing the true scale of their situation. Hundreds of derelict ships hung in the void beyond, vessels of clearly alien design, their crews long dead but their quantum technology still active, trapped in a kind of temporal stasis. The graveyard of hubris, Guardian explained. Each vessel carried beings who chose power over wisdom. Their quantum fields collapsed into singular points, trapping them between moments of time. Now they awaken, drawn by your success where they failed. Sarah felt her blood run cold as the derelict ships began to move, their ancient quantum drives powering up. Those ships, they're not just trapped. They're angry. The final filter, Maya gasped. It's not just about choosing wisdom over power, it's about facing the consequences of those who made the wrong choice. The derelict ships accelerated toward the gateway chamber, their quantum fields distorting space itself. Amit sensors screamed warnings as reality began to buckle under the strain. If those fields interact with ours in this state, Amit shouted, the temporal backlash could ripple across half the galaxy. Guardian's form became more solid than ever before. Now you understand. The Great Filter is not merely a test, it is a quarantine. Those who choose power become trapped, preventing them from spreading their destruction to other worlds. But when a species chooses wisdom, we become a threat to their existence, Sarah finished. Because we could show others a different path. Colonel Richards stepped forward. Then we fight. The colonial fleet has weapons. No. Maya interrupted. That's exactly what they want. Violence against violence, power against power, it's what created this graveyard in the first place. Her cybernetic eye pulsed as she accessed more of the predecessor data. There's another way. The quantum field, it can be used to heal instead of destroy. Sarah looked at her transformed first officer. What do you need? Everything, Maya replied. Every ship, every quantum generator, every mind linked to this network. We're going to show them what they forgot, what the predecessors learned too late. Guardian's patterns shifted to pure white. The final trial begins. Creation or destruction. Healing or violence. Show us your choice. The chamber shuddered as the first wave of derelict ships reached them. Their ancient quantum fields began to interact with the gateway's systems, creating ripples in spacetime itself. All ships, Sarah broadcast, follow Maya's instructions exactly. Humanity faces extinction not from an external enemy, but from the path we choose in this moment. We are not alone in this choice, we carry the hopes of every civilization that will come after us. Maya's consciousness expanded through the quantum network, touching every mind present. Through her, they could all see the pattern, the complex quantum dance that could either tear reality apart or heal wounds in spacetime itself. Ready quantum generators, she commanded. Remove all weapons safeties. Divert all power to the fields. Colonel Richards stared at his tactical display in shock. The pattern, it's the same as the predecessor's genetic code. They encoded the solution in their own DNA. Because DNA isn't just a blueprint for life, Amit realized. It's a blueprint for creation itself. The derelict ships were nearly upon them, their ancient rage palpable even through the void. The crews of the human vessels stood ready, their minds linked, their quantum generators humming in perfect harmony. Maya raised her hands, her cybernetic eye blazing with the combined knowledge of humanity and the predecessors. Now, everyone. Choose life. The chamber erupted with energy as every ship activated their quantum fields according to Maya's pattern. Space itself seemed to hold its breath as two paths diverged before them, extinction or transcendence. Guardian watched silently as humanity faced its moment of ultimate choice, and the fate of countless future civilizations hung in the balance. The time for wisdom had come. Legacy of the stars. The quantum fields of the human vessels pulsed in perfect harmony, creating a pattern that rippled through spacetime itself. Maya stood at the center of it all, her cybernetic eye blazing with the combined knowledge of humanity and the predecessors, her organic eye fixed on a future only she could see. Hold the pattern, she commanded as the first wave of derelict ships crashed against their quantum barrier. The ancient vessel's fields writhed with destructive energy, centuries of trapped rage seeking release. Through their neural link, every crew member felt the impact. Images flashed through their shared consciousness, the last moments of those trapped crews, their desperate attempts to force their way through the great filter, their final realization that their hunger for power had doomed them. They're not just angry, Sarah realized, gripping her command chair. They're in pain. Trapped between moments, aware but unable to truly die. Guardian's form shifted through complex geometries. Now you understand the true price of failure. The great filter is not merely death, it is eternal existence in the moment of your greatest mistake. The derelict ships pressed harder, their quantum fields distorting reality around them. Amit sensors registered impossible readings as space itself began to fold and twist. We can't hold them back forever, Colonel Richards warned, his tactical display showing more ancient vessels approaching. Even with our combined power. We're not supposed to hold them back, Maya interrupted, her voice carrying echoes of predecessor knowledge. We're supposed to help them. The pattern isn't a barrier, it's a bridge. Sarah understood suddenly. All this time, the predecessors weren't just trying to prevent other species from repeating their mistakes. They were trying to find someone who could free those already trapped. Maya nodded, tears streaming from her organic eye while her cybernetic implant pulsed with increasing intensity. The quantum field can rewrite reality itself, but only if guided by wisdom instead of power. We have to show them another way. Through their shared connection, Maya began to transmit not just information, but understanding. The human crews saw the full scope of the predecessors' plan, how they had seeded the galaxy with gateways, hoping that eventually, a species would evolve enough wisdom to heal the wounds in spacetime left by countless failed civilizations. The final trial isn't about us, Sarah breathed. It's about them. Whether we choose to help those who would have destroyed us. Guardian's form stabilized into pure light. Choose now, children of Earth. Will you rise above the cycle of power and destruction? Sarah looked at her crew, at the colonial forces that had come as enemies and now stood as allies, at the derelict ships still beating against their quantum barrier. She saw the same understanding in all their eyes. Maya, she commanded, show us what to do. Maya's consciousness expanded through the network, guiding every quantum generator into a new configuration. The pattern shifted from a barrier to something else, a spiral of energy that reached out to embrace the ancient vessels. Their quantum fields are locked in destructive resonance, she explained. But if we match their frequency and then gradually shift it, we can guide them back into normal spacetime. Back to peace. Colonel Richards ordered his ships into position, their quantum generators adapting to Maya's pattern. All colonial vessels, stand by to receive survivors. If we can save even one of them. The chamber filled with light as Maya initiated the quantum transformation. Through their neural link, they felt the rage of the trapped civilizations turn to confusion, then understanding, and finally. Hope, Maya whispered. They feel hope. The derelict ship's quantum fields began to synchronize with the human pattern. Slowly, painfully, they began to emerge from their temporal prison. Ships that had been frozen between moments for centuries finally completed their last movements. Guardian's form expanded to fill the chamber. The final trial is complete. You have chosen to heal rather than destroy, to lift up those who would have struck you down. The great filter is not merely a test of technology or power, it is a test of the heart. One by one, the ancient vessels powered down, their crews emerging from temporal stasis. Through the neural link, the human crews felt their confusion, their grief, and their profound gratitude. The pattern, Maya said softly. We need to preserve it. Other civilizations will need it. Sarah nodded. Guardian, the gateways were never meant to just trap or test. They're meant to be beacons, showing the way to something greater. Yes, Guardian confirmed. The predecessors believed that true civilization could only emerge when species learned to break the cycle of power and destruction. You have proved their faith was not misplaced. Colonel Richards stepped forward. The colonial authority will protect this knowledge. Not as a weapon, but as a legacy. A reminder of the path we chose. The chamber hummed with renewed energy as Maya began the process of downloading the quantum pattern into the gateway's systems. Future civilizations would find not just warnings here, but hope, proof that there was another way. What happens now? Sarah asked Guardian. Now you carry this wisdom back to your people. The great filter lies ahead of humanity still, but you have shown the potential to overcome it. The galaxy watches, and hopes. As the rescued ships began to power up their systems, their crews reaching out in languages long forgotten, Sarah looked at her transformed crew. They had come seeking minerals and found instead the key to humanity's future. Maya smiled, her cybernetic eye now glowing with a soft, steady light. The predecessors had it wrong, you know. They thought wisdom meant accepting limitations. But real wisdom is knowing when to break barriers, when to help instead of harm, when to trust instead of fear. The gateway chamber pulsed one final time, recording their choice for all who would follow. Humanity had passed its greatest test not through power or technology, but through the simple choice to help those who would have destroyed them. Take us home, Sarah ordered as the gateway began to close. We have a lot of work to do. The Helios Ascendant turned toward Earth, no longer just a mining vessel but a carrier of humanity's greatest discovery, the knowledge that the path to the stars led not through power, but through wisdom. And in the depths of space, countless other gateways waited, offering the same choice to all who would find them, power or wisdom, destruction or healing, isolation or unity. The legacy of the stars had been passed on. The great filter had become a great gateway. The future was waiting.